Ahoy toy, welcome to Transfixed, the channel that does believe freedom is the right of all sapient beings. That's sapient, not sentient, because sentient means you can feel and sense things. Sapient means you're capable of thought. Bet you didn't know that! I didn't know that until recently, so I thought I'd share. And, of course, who else believes that is our fine friend here, Optimus Prime. This is what they call comic version of Optimus Prime. So I just found him on TF Direct, and I'm not sponsored by TF Direct, but I'll keep plugging them until they do sponsor me. No, but I like the site because I often go there to find interesting things like this guy, who I didn't see anywhere else. They have a lot of KO and third-party things, and official Transformers too. But yeah, cool stuff. They have a Legends scale Springer that comes with some knockoff Diaclone reboot parts too. So stuff like that, and this fellow. There's also a Megatron. Last time I went there, I saw they have an MP-36 style this way. Now, they call this comic version. To me, it looks more like anime version, and that's what I kept calling him until I noticed that, oh, it says comic there. I don't remember Optimus looking like this. I mean, in the Marvel comic, he looked like 3 colors tops. Well, I guess he's not made up of a lot of colors, but yeah, I mean, he looked pretty basic in the Marvel comics. In the IDW comics, I suppose he did look glossy from time to time, but this to me speaks more like the '86 animated movie with that sort of Japanese reflective styling on it, and it's really nice. And he was only, what was it, I think $100. I think he's sold out now though, but it was only 100, 120 maybe. Pretty good, because I think, you know, a nice paint job like this, unless you're a very good customizer with lots of time to put into it and skill, you're not going to get this type of paint. So I thought I'd show him off. Here he's with the original MP-10, the Takara version. There he is with MP-36, Megatron. And here's a picture of the comic version of Megatron that will be coming out soon. So let's talk about him a little bit, if you'll indulge me. I wanted to mention this guy because I don't often get to show off MP-10, and I'm probably not going to get to again because they're coming out with a new version. But before I get there, Optimus Prime here was actually the one that got me back into Transformers collecting as an adult. I was looking on Big Bad Toy Store back when I first kind of discovered this site, and I don't know if it was the site I discovered first or the toy, but I learned about this masterpiece Optimus Prime, and I was just enraptured with it because I have a really fond memory of my 6th birthday when I got the original Optimus Prime and Storm Shadow. That was a good birthday. And it was such a cool toy. I really loved it. I wasn't a huge fan of Transformers as a kid. I was more into G.I. Joe, but Prime was just a really good toy. And so I had to have this because it's just an idealized look of, you know, how he was in the cartoon. And I mean, this was back when it first came out, and it was the Takara version. I think I dished out like $300 for it, and it was insane. I was so scared to spend that kind of money on a toy. I mean, I still am, but that was the first, you know, big expensive collectible that I bought. And then, of course, that's not being enough. I later did install these upgrades. I have a video about that if you're interested. There's a light up matrix in here too. There's this light up matrix. Yeah, so he kind of holds a special place for me. It'll be interesting to see what the new version looks like. This is the only peek we got so far, just a leg and a chest shot. I guess because the Masterpiece line has kind of evolved over time and become more cartoon inspired, which I definitely like. I like that direction. So I guess, you know, they're going back. It is time for a new Optimus, I think. So, and one thing I learned from this toy, I always thought this was one piece. I didn't know until the other toy is looser that this is 2 pieces. I didn't know this black panel flipped down. I thought this had an extra piece, but yeah, my mistake. So I don't know if everybody knew that, but yeah, that's something I learned. Did you know that Optimus Prime can store his gun in his back? This compartment here holds his Path Blaster gun. If you own him, I'm sure you know that. Did you know that many people forget to flip this ladder down when they transform him into truck mode. You'll often see this still folded up in a bit of a gap behind the front wheel when it's supposed to be down. I sometimes forget that myself. Did you know a lot of people forget to flip this gas tank down? Sometimes they leave it up. Sometimes they leave this uncovered. Shocking, I know. Did you know that the oversized knockoff version has 5 of these vents, and I think they move, but I'm not too sure about that. Did you know that on mine, I had to actually shave some of this joint down because it didn't open all the way properly, even though it's a expensive Takara product. And I also painted these yellow, which I wish I'd done a better job of, but anyway, they were not yellow, but they were on the Hasbro American release. Yeah, I think that's all the trivia I can think of. And these little guys sometimes are forgotten in truck mode. But let's take a look at him. Now, first impressions were not the best. He just comes in a nondescript cardboard box. And a plastic clamshell. But that's fine. It's not an oversized package, so that's good. He also comes with a painted version of his Energon axe, seen in that one episode. He also comes with the painted Path Blaster gun, which initially I didn't really care for. Let's see if it should be spring-loaded like the original. Yep, just a little bit sticky. Yeah, I don't really care for the... For some reason, the effect doesn't work for me with the gun, but I suppose no reason I shouldn't paint it that way. And he also comes with a matrix. Now this is a die-cast metal piece, I can tell because it's cold and heavy. But unfortunately this was a bit damaged right out of the package. There's some paint chipping right around here. Before I even took it out of the clamshell, I could see this paint had chipped off, and then when I touched it, more kind of flaked off. I'm not going to be too upset about that because this looks like it's hand-painted, I don't know. But, you know, for such a small piece with layers of different colored paint on top of metal, I can kind of forgive it. And you know what, I'm not really going to display this anyway. It's nice to have, and the painting is good. I mean, there's, you know, black lines and through here and everything. It's well painted. It's just a shame that it didn't adhere perfectly. But, you know, it is a KO, so what are you going to do? Yeah, otherwise, I think the paint job is great. It's a little bit stiff. Oh, and it also stank horribly. When I took this out, it still smells like oil or gasoline. Yeah, kind of like gasoline. It reminded me of a pair of boots I bought from Walmart, you know, because I like to dress in high fashion clothing. But no, I saved my money for Transformers, so I bought these black boots from Walmart that they just stink of gasoline. I guess it just makes me feel bad for those poor Chinese factory workers that are dealing with all these who knows what materials and chemicals that are often illegal in the United States, which is why we do so much manufacturing overseas, because they don't have a stringent health and safety laws. But anyway, I think the smell will dissipate over time, and I mean it's not a bother. I just thought I'd mention it because it was funny. But yeah, the painting is quite cool, and the plastic is a bit knockoffy. You know, it's more matte colored, not as glossy as the Takara version, which makes sense because it has to be painted, right? The paint looks all intact. Like, I don't worry about any of it scraping off or anything unless I'm rough with it. I think it's going to be fine. I mean, the paint job itself is really nice. This is also painted, or it's just red on the original versions. But yeah, I mean, this has to be a flat black, and to get the paint on it, it can't be glossy. But I'm impressed at how they got these black lines all over the place. I mean, I just don't know how they do this in a factory. It's amazing to me. It's bloody magic. I mean, there's the original red paint inside, you can see there, or red plastic rather. It still has the die-cast feet. And oh, did you know that in truck mode you have to slide these feet in so that they can peg together, right? Because these fold in to fill up that gap. These fold in and peg together like so. And you can see the hitch is painted black there, which is fine. So these have to be slid back. sometimes that's another overlooked transformation step. Now this one has one difficult part. When you compress the legs or collapse the legs, you have to press this button to get it to collapse. And one goes just fine. Oh, easy for me to say. And this one is just super tight. It's really hard to compress. However, to be fair, it's like that on my Takara version as well. I find one leg is just really hard to compress. Oof. And yeah, see, this just flips up, and I thought, oh, there's an extra piece in this one. Never realizing until I just tested it out that the original is like that too. I always thought this is one piece because they're stiff. But yeah, it's not. So this is all the same. You can put the matrix in there. I'm not going to do that because the paint's all going to come off of the matrix, I think. But just to give you a rough idea what that looks like. I apologize for my voice and any noise. I'm getting over a cold again. So as usual, I always edit out any coughing and sniffling I do. But I'm sorry if anything leaks through. Okay, I just had to get the chest to close up there. Yeah, just like fit and finish thing. It's not quite as good as the official masterpiece, but these are really tight joints in the hips here. Anyway. Well, you get the idea. That's what it looks like. Let's take a look at it in truck mode. And here is Optimus in his cab over truck mode, looking really quite fetching. The swirling paint scheme really comes together here. This is definitely the way it's been designed and painted on. And there's the original MP-10 for comparison. So I'm not sure it's really going to be a replacement for your MP-10, but it is a nice, nice alternative. The windshield wipers are a little bit different here, just because of the position. I just noticed that these ones stick up, whereas on the original, these appear to be molded right. Yeah, these are all molded right on. These seem to be separate pieces because they're angled, and you can kind of wiggle them here. That's interesting. There we go. Now it doesn't roll quite as well. MP-10 rolls beautifully. So it does have rubber tires, but they spin okay here. I find the front ones are just a little bit sticky in some positions. So I put some WD-40 and see if that improves. The back ones are a little bit better though. And altogether it's fine. It's just because of the plastic is KO quality. The fit and fitment just isn't quite as sturdy, so it's just a little bit it's not quite as tight holding together. The feet are still die cast back here though. Everything is the same, but just slightly off, right? Like you can see there's a bit of a gap there. Things just aren't quite as snug and tight and nicely fitting, and the plastic does feel a little bit cheaper. So, a little bit loosey-goosey, but not that bad. So there's our MP-10C all geared up, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. If you like this sort of styling, you should take a look for it. Again, I saw it on TF Direct. There's a link in the description below. They don't have any in stock at the time I'm recording this, but you can get on a wait list there, or if you spot it somewhere else, let me know in the comments. Maybe people are looking for this. Right, so that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and thanks for watching.